I decided to do my project on wildfires. I chose wildfires because it impacts not only the health of our environment, but the health of the people that are affected by it. And this contributes to climate change because the smoke is releasing carbon dioxide into our atmosphere. So here's my slideshow. Then I got a picture here what a wildfire could look like. And then here I'm explaining what wildfires are. So wildfire smoke is a mix of gases and the fine particles from burning trees, plants, buildings, and other material, according to the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention. The smoke contains small pollutants known as particle matter, or PM 2.5, which are 30 times smaller than the diameter of human hair. These particles can go deep into the lungs and reach the bloodstream. Short-term health effects of wildfire exposure, finding an association with high risk of death and respiratory and cardiovascular complications. So long-term effects can include reduced lung function, bronchitis, exacerbation of asthma, heart failure, premature death, impaired lung development in children, increased risk of lung cancer or heart disease, and increased inflammation. Then here are the impacts on health for the human body, and then there's a picture of some lungs with inflammation. So, like in the first slide, talks about how the particles in smoke can enter your bloodstream and cause inflammation. People with lung conditions are more at risk. The process of lung inflammation is when the body's immune system deals with infection, injury, and harmful substances. This process is called pneumonitis. So pneumonitis is general inflammation in your lungs that can affect how well you breathe and cause other bodily symptoms. It occurs when a foreign substance, irritant, inflames the small air sacs in your lungs. Symptoms include shortness of breath, chest pain, dry cough, and difficulty breathing. And then treatment can include medication. And then more in depth on impacts on health or other examples. So the effects of smoke from wildfires can range from eye and respiratory tract irritation to more serious disorders, including reduced lung function, bronchitis, exacerbation of asthma and heart failure, or premature death. Children, pregnant women, and the elderly are especially vulnerable to smoke exposure. Emissions from wildfires are known to cause increased visits to hospitals and clinics by those exposed to smoke. Wildfires can cause direct impact, including long-term injuries and even death, resulting from burns and inhalation of smoke during the fires. They can also cause indirect impact via air pollution and mental stress resulting from economic loss, casualties, and forced evacuations. Air pollution, including smoke, might cause DNA damage, decrease the viability of cells, and result in cell death. Now I'm going to talk about mental health and how wildfires can affect not only your physical health, but your mental health. So the destruction and loss of one's home, belongings, and surrounding community, and the threat to personal safety and the safety of loved ones can have significant consequences on survivors' mental health, which persists for years. The objective of this scoping review was to identify primary studies examining the impact of wildfires on mental health and to summarize findings for PTSD, depression, anxiety, and substance use. So the results show an increased rate of PTSD, depression, and generalized anxiety at several times of follow-up, post-wildfire, from the subacute phase 2 years after. And then some of the psychological effects can be somatization, depression, anxiety, hostility, phobic anxiety, obsession and paranoia. And lastly, the impact on the environment. So here's some smoke that is going up into our atmosphere. So it is just negative impact on our Earth. So some of the impacts include wildfire smoke is a mixture of hazardous air pollutants such as ozone, aromatic hydrocarbons, or lead, which contaminates the air with toxic pollutants. Wildfires release large quantities of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, contributing to global heating. Wildfires can cause ecosystem damage, soil erosion, and air pollution. Wildfires can affect the physical, chemical, and biological quality of streams, rivers, lakes, and reservoirs, which can last for years and even decades after a fire. So like I said in my last project, I talked about the atmosphere a lot, but the release of carbon dioxide into our atmosphere really damages our Earth because it causes global heating. And the problem with that is that it warms our Earth and it can raise sea levels, and it just isn't good for wildlife and just for the environment as a whole. Then it also talks about how it affects the quality of streams, rivers, lakes, and all that, and how it can even last for years and even decades after the fact, which just won't be good for our planet in the future because we won't have great water sources, and I feel like our survival rates as humans and survival rates of any species really will be lowered significantly because we won't have the basic needs that our Earth provides us with. And then I found this data chart on Google. It says climate change is a major driver behind the growth of western forest fires. So the warming of our Earth is also causing the fires, and then with the fires releasing even more smoke, then it's just really impacting our Earth in a negative way. Anyways, that's all. Thanks for watching.